Don't start with me. This ain't the day. You're acting like the Texans today. Yep, that's right, folks. This is your guy, Dolphins A.D. Moore. And the man with the team that's going to the state championships in Jerry World on Friday, the Gilmer Bulldogs. What's that, 3A? Is that 3A? 4A? Cut your mic, man. Come on. Let me get you off of mute.
We are, it's 4AD2, and we're still the Buckeyes, AD.
Oh, what I want to call you why I want to keep calling y'all the Bulldogs?
I don't know.
All right. Anyway, folks, for some, you know what? And corrected me about 10,000 times, and I keep wanting to go. Well, at least I got the B right. The Buckeyes instead of the Bulldogs. But anyway, hey, they're heading to the state championship. We'll talk about that later on. But right now, we got to talk about that cadaver known as the Houston Texans today, because they went to Broadway. They were not Joe Namath on Broadway today, folks. No stretch of the imagination. Aaron, I think I mentioned this to you. Final score today, 30-6. In case if somebody in some far reaches of Guantanamo Bay or Guam may not have heard the score, because it's next day in Guam. But if they hadn't heard the score, it was 0-0 at halftime. I think that was a total of 11 punts in the first half. And it was a driving rain and everything else. And the Texans act like they had practiced in the bubble, played in the bubble, lived in the bubble. They out in the elements. Really, this is the first time they've really been in elements to play a game. And taking everything in consideration, I don't know if I mentioned this to you, or we talked earlier in the week, Elvin, about this game. This is something about this team, particularly the New York Jets. Yeah, they were a 4-8 team coming in.
Yep.
But this was not your typical 4-8 team. Yeah. Zach Wilson played like he was a 4-8 quarterback, but the Jets defense are not a 4-8 unit.
No.
By no stretch of the imagination. So, I mean, and the thing about it, you coming in, had injuries, and now, boy, wow, they look like we ought to have a rerun of MASH. The Texans are walking. They are walking cluster right now. I mean, they are hurt. CJ's in the concussion protocol, and let's face it, folks. We probably better get ready for number 10 next week. No. I mean, seriously, if the concussion protocol goes according to the way they say it is, and I'm not sure what CJ Stroud's baseline is, we could see Davis Mills, I know everybody heart and sunk to the ground, but that's the nature of the beast. Next man up. And so you better start getting your heart, your mind, and your soul conditioned that you get ready to see CJ Stroud. I mean, not CJ, Davis Mills next week, because he's in concussion protocol. Unless he can come out, unless his baseline is not what I think it is, or if he can match his baseline, then you'll see him next week. But I don't expect to see him practicing. No. If he hadn't practiced by Wednesday, we may not see him at all. And that's just the nature. Hey, next person up. But anyway, before we do that, let's get to our sponsor. I know last week had some issues with it, but I think I got everything worked out this week. And let's get to our sponsor, then we'll get back to this cadaver.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
That's right, folks. Ken Ross Agency, 281-235-5952. My agent for, low these many years. Also, my fraternity brother, low these many years. Got a few of them out there listening and everything. But yeah, please give the Ken Ross Agency call 281-235-5952. Elvin, I know I started out the program on a binge, but I'm just gonna be like a relay team today. I'm gonna hand the baton off to you and your initial reactions to the Texans, at least that fiasco that they call a professional football team today. Even though the elements and everything else, they didn't play what the damn today.
No, they didn't. And, I told you when you and I were texting back and forth, I'm very disappointed. I mean, we had the third and final wild card spot. We were in that position. As long as we won, we would have kept that position. And now after today, we are 2 spots out of the playoffs with the final wild card position. And I think and everybody that's been listening to us through the season knows, I think the world of D'Amico Ryans. I love C.J. Stroud. I'm not going to put any of this on C.J. That offensive line was horrible today. And I'm sorry, folks, but D'Amico didn't have his team ready to play, nor did his assistant coaches. That's on the coaching staff, in my opinion, because it was bad weather for everybody. The Jets had to play in the same weather. And, I've heard this in the past. Oh, well, yeah, but they're used to it. We're not. I'm sorry. It's professional football. You got to be ready for it. And this team was not ready to play today. It's on the offensive line that CJ got hurt. I'm like you. I don't think there's any way he can meet that baseline in time to be in for next Sunday's game. And, of course, that's in Tennessee against the Titans. But at this point, what scares me, you saw just like I did, I'm sure, as did all of the fans watching, when CJ's head went down, it hit so hard you could see the water mist coming out of the turf. I'm afraid he has a serious concussion, and I hope and pray that I'm incorrect. But my fear is we may have seen the last of CJ for 2, 3, maybe even the rest of the regular season.
Ooh.
I've seen the protocols and how hard it is to be able to meet that baseline, especially when your head gets hit as hard as his did. It just really scares me. And I hate it for that young man because I love that guy more than any other player in the NFL right now.
Now you know what the view of him when the Texans attendants was walking him after he came out the blue tent and they were walking him like going into the locker room. That look in his eyes, the lack of a gleam. I know they were losing. I know he just had his head dribble off the turf at MetLife Stadium. But yeah, man, it was a scary. He had lifeless eyes, and let me just put it. I'm being generous. He had lifeless eyes when at least when the camera was on him, from what you can see. And I don't think he even done his presser with the media day. From what I was trying to go back and forth and listen. I don't even think he might have done. If he did,
I don't think any quarterback when they go in concussion protocol ever does a presser after.
Yeah, I don't. I'm pretty sure he did. Pretty sure he didn't. But I tell you what, it's scary, and I know because remember Henry To'oTo'o just came back off a concussion protocol. I remember a couple of weeks ago, and just in the locker room, we just talking around, sidebar conversation, and I just mentioned to him, I say, "Hey man, trying to make your baseline again is tough." He just looked at me and just shook his head. He said, because he's thinking I'm ready to go, but you have an independent, doctor, I think a neurologist. Yes. That is sitting there that's clearing these guys. This is not the Texans team doctor. This is none of this. I'll give the NFL credit to this point. They've heard, with all the CTE and all the other, and with the money that they have paid out and they're still going to be paying out, they finally put something in place to protect the players as far as that's concerned.
It needed to be done, AD, and I know the players get frustrated because they think they're ready to go back. Oh, I feel normal. I don't really have much of a headache. But as you know, we have lost so many good players with CTE, and the one that immediately comes to my mind and really the most tragic one was Junior Seau. I mean, that guy was first class. And, you know, the CTE can literally make them crazy, basically. There's no other term for it. And sad ending to Junior's life and a lot of other just really good, fine men because of CTE. And the league realized they were going to have to do something. And they stepped up to the plate and did it. And I know the players don't like it, but 20 years from now, they're going to be glad that the NFL put all this in place.
You know, it's kind of ironic you said that. I said the same thing to Henry Tortora about a couple of weeks ago. I said, you may not like this now, and I'm pretty sure you don't. I say, but you know what? There's life after you hang your pads up.
Absolutely.
And you know, and it really is. And the thing about it, a lot of folks, you know, we applaud these guys. These are athletes. You know, and a lot of folks say, oh, they're gladiators. They're this, they're that. We're warriors. No, you are athletes. You're just football players, okay? You're not a warrior. You know, we talk about this warrior mentality. I don't know of a war battlefield that you have 7 NFL officials with uniforms on. You got a camera overhead. You got New York looking in that can overturn a call. That's not a battlefield, folks. That's not. I mean, this is an athletic contest. So let's not conflate the two. These are athletes. These are professional athletes, and you know, having been played, and I'd have had the eggs scrambled in my head more than one occasion. And so, and I know you don't quit laughing there. I know you probably say you still scramble, but no, it's that is a nauseating. Ooh, you're talking about a headache that just doesn't go away. That being concussed is nothing to laugh at. And so, you know, we hope for the best on CJ. Hopefully, like I said, I'm going ahead and saying it now. Folks, get ready. Davis Mills will be your starting quarterback next week. If I'm wrong, then I would come back on this program next week after they play the Tennessee Titans and say I was wrong. And you know what? This will be one time I'm glad to say I was wrong. But you know, this young man's career is ahead of him, and so if he's not the starting quarterback next week because of the concussion protocol, oh well, so be it. Next man up. That's what we were saying. But let's face it, the number 5, folks. Think about this. I'm holding up 5 fingers. Where the camera? Yeah, that's right. Number 5. This is what's pertinent right now. They stopped the Denver Broncos last week, who was on a 5-game winning streak. Guess what the New York Jets streak they were on? They were on a 5-game losing streak. Yep. So maybe we should have take those numbers and go play Powerball with it. I don't know. Try to figure out multiples of 5, you know, the divisions of 5s and whatever the case might be. But yeah, that was the situation today. Zach Wilson had his best game as a professional.
They went literally, AD, like you were talking about, 5-game winning streak of the Broncos to 5-game losing streak going into the Jets. Literally, this team went from the penthouse to the outhouse in 7 days.
Yeah. And wait a minute, and the thing about it, there was no shaman in the outhouse.
No, there was not.
I know some folks probably going like, God help us. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, there wasn't no shaman in the outhouse. Not today, not for the Texans.
We don't have any filters, AD. We call a spade, call it the way it is.
Yeah, I mean, Jonathan Grenard today, he had what, 2 sacks today. Sheldon Rankins had a sack. I think the Texans had 4. I'm missing one guy with a sack. I had to go back and take a look at the, you know, some of whatever the bright spots might have been today. You know, those was a couple of the bright spots. But Wilson today looked like, you know, you sort of looked like the second coming. Everybody going like, you know, oh, you know, I know today after the day, everybody saying, well, where has this been? You know, because everybody just assumed, you know, when Aaron Rodgers went down, that Zach Wilson, you know, and hopefully he had learned a little bit. Well, today he looked like he had passed all of the pre-post and doctoral program of the Aaron Rodgers quarterback program today. because he done everything according to plan today. The Jets, the wide receiver, everything clicked today. The one thing, and I said this, and I think I mentioned it to you earlier, I was really worried about the Jets defense and what they could do to the Houston Texans. I really was. Now, and especially now, when Nico Collins went down after the first,
yeah.
I mean, Nico Collins. I mean, we already know Tank Dell's gone, so the receiver that was going to take the top off the defense, he's off to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Collins had his best game of his professional career last week. He went down after doing the first series, and then it was sort of like, okay, the relationships and that chemistry that C.J. Stroud had with those two receivers, that's no longer present. And
right.
and so, not making I'm not here to alibi making excuses, but and then Dalton Schultz was not there.
Right.
We had the tight end. It was a hodgepodge of things, and so it's coming down when they talking about next man up next week. It's literally gonna have to be next man up.
Yeah.
The defense is because you're gonna be outdoors again. I'm not sure what the 7-day forecast is for Nashville, Tennessee, but it may not necessarily be sunny like it is in Houston, Texas this afternoon, or it may not be sunny like it is up in Gilmer, up in East Texas with you. But the weather's can't be an excuse.
No, never.
Weather cannot be an excuse.
You got to learn how to handle it.
Yeah, and the thing about it, we've been encouraged by this team, but by far, in my humble opinion, this was their worst game to date.
Well, in my less than humble opinion, you hit the nail on the head. You are spot on. It was the worst game today.
There's nothing. There was a semblance of a running game, yep. and I use that word cautiously and advisedly, underline semblance, because you only got a motor. Devin Singletary had, I think his best run might have been 11 or 12 yards at one pop. That was it. Everything else just sort of, it's almost like they were out there going, darn, man, we got to play in this. Yeah, you have to play in this.
Yep,
it's football.
Yeah,
you at least you're not playing on. It used to be in that muck.
Oh
at Shea Stadium where the Jets used to play when they probably this time of the year they would have probably been playing in mud.
Yep, and I'll tell you what too, that the best way that I can say it without just getting totally out in the back 40. Watching the Texans both offensively and defensively today was like watching grass grow or paint dry. There was not a single point in my mind in the whole game where I felt excited or felt like, hey, we're going to be okay. Usually a 0-0 halftime game, you go, oh, well, we saw some bright spots. We saw this, we saw that. I hate to say it, but I never saw anything that gave me any positive thoughts about this game at all day long.
No, it didn't. I mean, well, they recovered. They got the fumble. They caused Zach Wilson a fumble. I know on their system on their flagship station they give the player of the game. The player. As far as I'm concerned, that's probably the player of the game. Not that they scored the touchdown. The fact that they created the fumble, as far as I'm concerned, and like I say, I didn't listen to the broadcast. I saw watch the TV with the sound down, and just sit there and kept observing and kept trying to figure out, what gives. And like you said today, that was a game plan. I'm not sure did the game plan get on the plane with the Texans yesterday when they left and went and got to New York. Or was the game plan inside one of those trunks that they load on the equipment truck? But whatever that game plan was, it didn't work.
Make it the stadium.
Well, it might have made it to the stadium. I don't know. It may not. I don't know if it cleared. I don't know if it cleared security because
Well,
it might have been. It might have been contraband by the time the way security looked.
Well, it didn't make it to the field. Let's say that.
Okay, all right. I'll go with that. Hey, let me get our Mr. Ross in. I owe my extra one because last week we had issues. I want to make sure I get him in here.
You bet.
Hello, I'm Ken Ross with the Ken Ross Insurance Agency. There are certain things that are important in our lives: our health, our safety, and our loved ones. With over 40 years of experience, I've seen just how important insurance can be. I value the importance of being a part of my community and being there when they need me. Insurance is important everywhere, but being here in South Texas, it is absolutely essential. From flood, home, auto, and life insurance, let the Ken Ross Agency be your agency of choice.
Yep, that's right, folks. We're back. That's right. The Ken Ross Agency, 281-235-5952. Repeating, 281-235-5952. Give Mr. Ross a call, and if not, leave him a message. Tell him AD was on his knees, on hand and knees, begging you to give him a call. Tell him that you can answer. Mr. Ross can answer all your insurance needs. He's a man of great wealth, knowledge, and a reputable insurance agency. Give him a call again, 281-235-5952. All right, Elmer, let's face it. Let's go ahead and, instead of the 24-hour rule, whether the Texans won or lost, but in this case, this stink of the day, man, let me tell you something. If this was a Broadway play, they closed before the first act finished.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been over after 2/3 of the first quarter.
Yeah, right. I mean, they closed, and the critics, and we'll put it like this, it was so bad that the critics, even some of them, and when I don't know how many folks get a chance to still, I've had a chance, read the New York Times, definitely read some of those plays when they open, and some of those critics, I mean, it's almost like they take great glee in savaging new plays when they open up.
Yep.
Let me put it like this. I think they basically would have just stuck a skull and crossbone on this, talking about DOA.
Yeah.
Dead on arrival. Probably when they'd have probably just walked out there. Don't even worry about the coin flip, because it just didn't go well today for the Houston Texans. And so, like I say, they're gonna have stinkers. This is the stinker game of the year, and I hope this is the worst one of the year. I hope they flush this completely out of their system. Yeah, I know there was a game, the Indianapolis game. There was a couple of others that you sort of just you grinding your teeth. It's almost like I was in my dentist chair about a week ago, and the dental assistant, did you grind your teeth? And I'm going like, no, I sleep at night. I'm trying to figure out how to, but anyway, that's another story. That's another podcast. Do you grind your teeth? We might do a joke about that. I don't know. Anyway, but it's not a whole that no. Let's face it. I want to say not a whole lot of things to write home about. There's nothing to write home about on this game. It's nothing. It's a long list of injuries. Will Anderson, I'm not sure where his situation is going to be. He's out hurt, so it's it's almost like we need Hawkeye Pierce and Potter and them to come back in and do the 4077, because that's about the way the Texans after this contest in MetLife Field today. All we need is Henry Potter and them and the MASH units to come back and try to figure that out. All right, Elwin. I think we done kicked this dead dog long enough, man.
Yeah.
Quickly, let's talk a little bit about your team up there. the Gilmer Buckeyes, man. They're going for which championship? Because I know y'all have a list of them. It's been a little bit in between, but which championship is this one going for the Gilmer Buckeyes?
This will be our 9th appearance in the state championship game, and right now we are 3-5 in our trips. Jeff Traylor won 3 out of 5, and Alan Metzel lost the first 2 in 20 and 21. And, of course, we got beat by Carthage in the 3rd round last year before taking them out in overtime 47-44 this year. And a lot of people didn't think we were going to beat Glen Rose the other night. But I know you and I have talked about this, and I'd be negligent if I didn't mention it. One of the finest young men on our football team, and we got a lot of them, Jeremiah Noble, wears number 13, in fact. A few weeks back, his mother and aunt were murdered in front of him by his aunt's boyfriend. And the young man could have been killed himself. He made it out with his brother and his cousin, or his sibling and his cousin, rather. And they finally caught the man in San Bernardino, California. We got him back in Gilmer. He's under, I believe, a $3 million bond. Jeremiah missed our first playoff game after that happened, but made it back the next week. That young man, our football team has dedicated the rest of this season to Jeremiah Noble. And the other night, after we got behind 14-6, he took the next kickoff and returned it 77 yards around the right side of the field, from the center to the right side of the field for the touchdown. That young man is about 5'6" or 5'7" and weighs 145 pounds soaking wet. And our team has dedicated the rest of the season to him. A lot of people did not think we would win last week against Glen Rose, and we barely pulled it out 79-42. And by the way, I got to mention this, that 79 points, according to the UIL, is the most points ever scored in the history of Texas high school football in a state semifinal game. So we got into record books once again. We are an underdog by anywhere from 7 to 11 points to Belleville, down in pretty close to your neck of the woods down there.
Yep.
They're 15-0, but Belleville has played 11 teams that had a losing record this year. And we have only played 5 teams out of 15 games that had a losing record. Our defense, we had to replace 7 players at the first of the year that graduated last year. We had trouble finding the right guys for the right spots. And the first game of the year, we gave up a whopping 72 points. We've given up a boatload of points, but since we got the right people in the right place, we've won 9 games in a row. And I firmly believe, and probably some of our listeners and viewers are Belleville fans, I firmly believe you can't put a price on that it factor and the fact that this is dedicated to this young man. And I honestly believe my Buckeyes are going to find a way to get it done against a very, very talented and tough slot T offensive unit from Belleville Friday at 3:00.
Yeah, and 3:00, and you're playing in Jerry's World, right?
Yes, sir. Third time in 4 years.
Oh, okay. All right. Speaking of Jerry World, quick, and I know none of the Cowboys are one of your main beats. You won't be in the house tomorrow night, but just can they take out the Eagles tomorrow night, or will the Eagles come in here and declare Jerry's World Philadelphia?
Well, I am 100% confident in saying they can't take out the Eagles tomorrow night because the game's tonight. But, but to answer the question that you actually asked,
you set me up for that one, didn't you?
I did. I was just hoping I'd get a chance. Okay, so, but honestly, yeah, you know, I'm a diehard Cowboys fan, but I'm a diehard Texans fan too. I hope and pray they can do it, but I honestly don't have a high hope they can do it because let's face it, the Eagles and Jalen Hurts are right up there in the NFC. They're number 2 behind the San Francisco 49ers. And right now, unless the Cowboys pull off that win tonight, they will remain in number 3 in the NFC behind Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. The only thing, or I say the only thing, the Cowboys have got a great team, but the biggest thing in their favor, I think that will give them a realistic chance if they can play error-free football is they have won 14 home games in a row at AT&T Stadium. But we already know what happens when you got a streak going if it's a team you want. So, I don't have a tremendous amount of confidence, but I'm hoping.
Well, streaks, yeah. The thing about it, the Eagles coming in with they feelings real bruised. Now, Jalen Hurts is scheduled to start tonight, correct?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, I wasn't sure, man, because according to David Carr, the man doesn't know how to read defenses. So I don't know. I'm going like I don't know what the hell he's been doing this last. I don't know what he was doing in the last Super Bowl that they played against the Kansas City Chiefs.
If he can't read defenses, if he could read defenses, how good would he be then?
Oh man, I mean, really, I'm just curious as to since the man allegedly can't read defenses. I'm going like I don't know where the hell David Carr pulled that one from.
Well, I do.
Oh,
it was all those sacks he took in Houston that first year of existence in 2002.
Yeah, you about right about that. David Carr, he took enough sacks. He was on his back longer than folks in a hot sheet motel. I'm gonna tell you, man.
I think it was 76 of them, if I remember correctly.
I thought it was 50-something. 50. I mean, yeah, he got abused his first year. But anyway, hey man, final points from you, and I'm gonna go ahead and cut you loose. Oh, by the way, folks, get ready for Chris Gardner, folks talking sports tonight at 7:00 on the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. And if you have not subscribed to the Houston Roundball Review channel, please do so. Also, the Ad Max Corner YouTube channel. Those of y'all that are listening, if y'all like our crazy humor, if y'all like our craziness, even if you don't like our craziness, it's not gonna cost you. Click the subscribe button. We need the money. We are starving actors. I don't know what the hell we mean by the acting.
Well, we're starving for sure. No paycheck, and I don't think you have either.
yeah. But anyway, hey, seriously, all candid aside, I appreciate it. And I want to appreciate you being on, man. Good luck to the Gilmore Buckeyes this week against when they I think it's at 3:00 in Jerry World on Friday afternoon. They go for their 4A championship. Is that division? That's Division 2, right? Because
4A D2.
Yeah, the 4A D2. Good luck to them, and give everybody our regards. And hey, man, we'll cut you loose. I know you keep flicking. I know you're watching about a couple of games at the same time.
I'm looking at the Chiefs, but it's halftime. They're trailing 14-7 to the Buffalo Bills right now.
Can you do that? Are we allowed to give the scores? Oh, hell, I don't know. Let them come after us.
We just can't give any video.
Oh, okay. All right. I can say that. Okay, good. Come after us then. Come on after us.
Well, you asked me about my final thoughts. The Texans are still in this thing.
Yeah.
But Davis Mills has got to have a good game as is almost certain he will start next week. And the Texans have got to find a way to win on the road in Nashville against the Tennessee Titans, because it don't get no easier, folks. We got the Cleveland Browns coming in the next game at home.
Yep.
And they were winning a little while ago also.
They won. They did win.
Yeah, I said winning. They won. So that's a pretty hot team coming in. And even with C.J. Stroud, that would be a tough game. We can't drop 3 games in a row and expect to make the playoffs.
No, and I don't expect them to. I realize that the Texans got their hands full next week, but you know what? We'll see what type of tenacity that this team has shown a lot of tenacity. They don't wallow around in their own self-pity. I'm expecting them to get off the canvas and come back. Yeah. Again, hey Elvin, appreciate it. Be talking at you, man. We'll probably catch up with you next week, and during the week we'll be talking. Okay.
Sounds good, brother. Have a great week.
Take care now.
Will do. Bye-bye.
Oh. No. Oh. Yeah.
There we go.
All right, here we go, folks. Yep, that's right. And as we get ready to end this puppy, remember your Houston Texans go down today to the New York Jets. Yeah, that was a 4-18 they played today. But I tell you what, at MetLife Stadium, this was not your typical 4-18. Zach Wilson looked like a little bit more like Aaron Rodgers than Zach Wilson. But hey, what the heck? The Texans didn't play like the Texans at least we've been used to seeing. This was, like I say, this was their slummiest game of the year, and I hope they don't do it anymore. But again, if you have not subscribed to the AdMax Corner channel on YouTube, please do so. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your enemies, tell anybody that you like and even if you don't like. Also on the Houston Roundball Review channel, please subscribe to that channel as well. Chris Gardner and the rest of the guys will be coming on, I think, at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time tonight. They'll be talking, and they got a lot to talk about. The U of H University of Houston Cougars. Willie Fritz has come from Tulane to try to upright the University of Houston's football program. Yeah, the same Willie Fritz that carried the Sam Houston State Bearcats, my alma mater, to the FCS championship 2 years running. And so he's in Houston now to see if he can get them to the Big 12 championship. So without further ado, this is your man, Adolphus A.D. Moore, with Elwin. And he's not Elvin on the road this week. He was Elvin at home. And so that was a good thing. He wasn't on the road, and we'll probably hook it up again this time next week. And hopefully we're talking about a victory as the Texans try to right this ship and get it back up on the road and back in the middle of the water and get the motor running again. 30-6, Texas done. That's over with. This dog is dead. I'm out. Peace, ciao. Hey, holiday season, folks. Be careful out there with your shopping. Be cognizant of your surroundings. Be on the lookout. There's folks out here trying to do their Christmas shopping off of you. Do not become a victim. Do not leave yourself prey to somebody else's lasciviousness, okay? I'm out, and we are done. Take care, people. Out. Ciao.